And co-founder, and there is a lot of news going on in Rhode Island today. If you haven't seen, it's the 100th day. Governor McKee has been in office, and GoLocal's got a breakdown of his wins and his losses. Take a look at that. But this is really one of my favorite times of the week. It's the Mott and Chase visit. Our friend Robert Rutley is here. Robert, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for having me again.
Okay, so real estate is hot, hot, hot. It does not seem to cool. Prices go up. They do not seem to come down. This has been a multi-year upward momentum. Give your viewpoint. You're kind of all over the state. You see a lot of different interesting properties. Give us a little bit of an overview of where you think the market is right now here at the beginning of June.
So, last year was really an anomaly because we didn't have much growth happening in the first few months. And with that pent-up demand, we had buyers and sellers just going crazy for the entire part of the year. Now we've got people that, have their vaccines, are feeling more comfortable about being out in public, and we're seeing more of a seasonal ebb and flow that we normally will see in real estate. So that spring market is really, really super hot. It is still spring, but I'm seeing things are tapering off a little bit. So homes that are, turnkey and beautiful and great neighborhoods that will normally get 25 offers are now getting about 5 offers. So this is the trend that I'm seeing. I'm seeing this all over the state. There are still some really highly competitive areas like the east side of Providence, specific neighborhoods, the Point section of Narragansett, and some other great locations.
Yeah, I mean, you shared some numbers with me about how dynamic, shall we say, the east side is. Walk us through those numbers between on what we would call the lower end of the market on the east side of Providence. Walk us through what the availability of properties are.
Yeah, so the average price point of a single family home in the state of Rhode Island is about $350,000. So there's not really a lot of properties on the east side at that average. It's quite a bit higher. So taking all the properties that have been listed between $300,000 and $700,000, which could be that entry level on the east side of Providence, and looking at those, there are only 4 properties that have been on the market without a contract for more than 7 days. So I mean.
So I remember when 700,000 was the top of the market, but between 300, Providence's finest are racing off to somewhere going by our studios, but between 300,000 and 700,000. The number of houses that have been on the market on the east side of Providence, which is a big swath of area, there's only 4 homes.
Correct. That's single-family homes. There are condos, there are multifamilies, but for single-family homes, for the purpose of that, 4 homes that have been on the market for more than 7 days. And to be honest, those are homes that are either priced inappropriately, need extensive work, or both.
Yeah.
So anything that's turnkey and well-positioned, well-marketed is probably gone within 72 hours. This morning I came across a house in Cranston that had delayed showings until Thursday, and they had 2 unsolicited offers from people that haven't even seen it. So they've gone under contract completely sight unseen. So weird things are still happening, but I think as real estate agents, it's still our responsibility to try to ease the market, control the market, so that people are getting the best options they can when they're selling their property.
You recently represented the sellers of a house on Federal Hill. I would be safe to say it has now become the iconic poster child for this housing market. It was a house built with federal funds under the Cianci Sunland administrations in 1994. It sold for $40,000 to a low-income family. The city also gave that family a $10,000 grant for its down payment, and on the agreement that it stay there for 5 years. It sold. You closed on it last Friday, and it closed for how much?
$450,000.
So I think that gives us sort of the prime example of where the market is. As you started today, you talked a little bit about the cooling. You were here 3 months ago, and you talked about 30 people showing up for almost each and every open house, and somewhere between 10 and 12 offers on any given Saturday or Sunday, and all of them or most of them above asking price. If we go to an open house this weekend, how many people are we going to see? On average, how many on average are going to make an offer, and where's the pricing going to be?
Well, you know what? I mean, the open houses in the past few months have been really different than the open houses that we traditionally have. Open houses traditionally are, we put up a sign, we say you show up between 12 and 2, and if you feel like it, you're in the neighborhood, or perhaps you're looking for a house, you come in and take a peek around. In the past few months, anybody who's been really protecting their sellers and their the buyers and other people have had these incremental showings. So we've only had 15 minutes for one group of people to go through a house independently without having to cross back and forth. And that was Rhode Island Association of Realtors guidance that we were following. So we had our first open house as the Blackstone team this last Sunday. And it was a good open house. And Katie on our team performed that open house. But we had quite a few people come through, and it generated 2 offers. So that house did not go in 72 hours, but that open house did generate offers. And that's just, open houses still work.
Has the implications of the pandemic had a devastating impact on the balloon industry, because you guys used to buy balloons to put on your signs for the open houses, and now you don't have to pay for those balloons anymore?
You're going to have to talk to the balloon people about that.
That'll be a separate investigative story by GoLocal, looking at the implications of the pandemic on the balloon industry for open houses. But, I got a feed on a property today. It was the most nondescript property I've maybe ever seen a feed on. It was down in Newport in a good neighborhood. It is as simple a house. I described it to you before we came on as taking 2 Home Depot shacks and affixing them together. It is on the market for $775,000.
Well, the Newport market's very, very hot right now, so we'll find out if that's appropriately priced within the next 72 hours. So it'd be two $40,000 shacks.
Yes, that's right. Let's go across the state. Is there anything that's really cooling off? As you said, the average price in Rhode Island, median household price of a single-family home is approximately $350,000. It's up 18% year over year. Are you starting to see any fraying? Is West Greenwich cooling off, or Burrillville? I mean, is there any sign for that middle-class first-time home buyer that they can look around and see that the just upward momentum is slowing?
That 18% in Rhode Island is really kind of above average national, across the nation too. So across the nation, it's about 15% year over year. So, we're seeing on the East Coast, and because we're a huge feeder of Boston, a little more growth. Not as much growth as, some of the places like the Pacific Northwest and Austin, Texas, and Arizona. We're seeing 20+, percent increase year over year. So, going back to, where can you find homes that are well priced and not super competitive? Man, that's really a hard question. The Blackstone team, we are really putting our heads together to try to find out where is that next spot. We thought, hey, is it Elmhurst? Is it Riverside? But those 2 neighborhoods are still really, really, growing exponentially. Homes that may have been 260, 270 last year, and in cute little Riverside, Rhode Island, are now in the mid 3s. So in 2 years, it's been an incredible change. Elmhurst has taken off a huge explosion. Until recently, I had a price record at a 7,000 square foot house over there. I think a 1,700 square foot house sold close to or over $500,000 recently, and blew that record out. So I can't even compare the price per square footage, but obviously people have now realized that's there.
Let me just pause you right there. I just want to make sure I got the math on that. A 1,700 square foot home in Elmhurst in Providence sold for more than $500,000. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'll have to check on the square footage itself, but I remember 17 or 1800 square feet, and just yeah, it's numbing.
Yeah, that is that goes up on the poster next to De Pasquale Ave on Federal Hill.
Yeah.
Interest rates are low. There's certainly no indication from the Fed that they are going to tamper with interest rates for, certainly the rest of this calendar year, but it may be a full 12-month period. That's the way it looks and smells right now.
Right.
Unemployment is, there's a lot of jobs that are unfilled. So we're going to see more people going back to work. We're going to see more spending power. You take those two factors together and you say, how do prices stabilize if those are the competing factors? And could we see 18% price increase again in the next 12 months?
I think, it's really tough to say, and I wish I had a crystal ball for this year because I would have been able to advise, clients even better than I did. But we knew it was going to be competitive. But even my estimations, which might be a little conservative to where, we list properties and where they're going to sell at, even those have been kind of blown out of the water. So we're seeing $100,000 more on properties. A lot of times, I sell a home and, I cross my fingers for the offer that we really, really want, which a lot of times is no contingencies in cash. We sold something out in Greenville, Rhode Island last week also, it's not it's a great neighborhood. It's a great place. It's not one of the highly coveted neighborhoods in the state. But we had multiple offers again. I think we had about 8 or 9 offers. 2 of those were cash, and we went with a cash one. So I think competition is still going to be out there. And I think because we've got so many millennials in the marketplace that are coming to their own, that we're still going to see competition and growth. I don't think it's going to be 18% in another year. I think that perfect storm of COVID and really reevaluating everybody's life to find out if they wanted to be closer to their grandkids or if they wanted to be in their perfect summer home. I think that we had that time in the sun. I think that we're going to look at probably a little lower price growth that we've seen over the past, the past 4 or 5 years.
The housing experts over at Roger Williams University, the sort of think tank over there, say part of the problem is we're just not building enough houses.
Right.
And part of that is zoning restrictions in many
Right.
of the communities in Rhode Island. Is that part of the problem?
Yeah, I think so. I think we don't have a lot of new construction in Rhode Island. There are places, outside of the city where there's a lot of new construction, or not really a lot. There's some new construction. It's definitely not keeping up pace with the people that need homes. A lot of people that need homes want to live in the city, and the affordability right now for many people moves them to condos. Condo has not been a hot market over the past year because people don't want to live in communal situations. So we think that may change a little bit and the condo market may grow. But, for instance, building a whole bunch of units, luxury units like the Fane Tower, I really just don't see the market for it, in this time. Maybe it's, another 6 months to another year where people start moving towards condos or communal living. And maybe that's something that will grow. But yeah, we need more single family homes. We need new construction, or availability of somehow.
So the super rich like yourself have not put down a deposit for Fane as of yet.
No.
Robert, where do you see the summer? And then, as hot as the spring is annually, the fall is equally as hot. What happens over the summer, and what's your premonitions on the fall season?
I think that, this summer we've still got some buyers that have been out there struggling, looking for homes over the past year. I've got clients that have missed out quite a few times. I'm hoping to get those people into their next home, whether it's their forever home or their next space. But I think that it's going to slow down over summer. Kids are, out of school. People are going to take those family vacations now that they're vaccinated, whether it's a local vacation or they're going someplace, where they feel safe, whether it's, Mexico, Canada, or, another country. So I think that people are taking those vacations. People are going to be spending more time with family. I think less people are going to be focused on real estate. So I think it's going to be that typical market. That changes again, and that shift usually happens around July 4th. So, I always suggest, you got to get your house on the market before July 4th, or know that you're going to spend a little more time on the market in the summer. But the people that are looking in the summer, just like the people that are looking in the dead of winter, are serious buyers, and you don't have any tire kickers. The market picks back up probably around September 1st. It is our second hottest market of the year. Typically, again, I don't know what this year is going to happen, what this year is going to do, or how that's going to happen. But we'll see an influx of listings and buyer interest again.
Robert Rutley, as always, greatly appreciate you taking the time. You are a bastion of knowledge, and from our standpoint, a very fair broker in giving advice to both buyers and sellers. And always appreciate you coming on. For everybody else, we have a busy day on GoLocal Live. We'll be back later at noon with the woman who put together Stop the Wait, the effort to protect the expansion of charter schools. And then we'll be back with one of the top healthcare experts in the state of Rhode Island. We'll be talking about nutrition in Rhode Island. Dr. Fine is off this week, traveling across the country. And so I invite you back both at 12 and at 1. A lot of news is breaking. Take a look at it on GoLocal. And again, thanks to our friend Robert Rutley at Mott & Chase. Everybody stay safe. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, go do it. Even I could get it done. I stuck out my arm. They put a little jab in. I came back 3 weeks later. They did it again. I feel a million times better and much more confident. Thanks, everybody. Be safe.